Welcome everybody to another edition of Dan's Grand Valley Railroad. Well, as you can see, we're still running the big consist this week. I've had it going for a couple of weeks now, ever since we set it up. I did turn that one locomotive, number 315, around, just because I was doing some experimenting with that. And then I want to talk about another locomotive here that I kind of took out of mothballs. I'll explain that in a minute. We'll get that out of the shop over here. But I'll tell you about the story about that and how that came to be. It's another GP38, just like these two. Anyways, today we're gonna break up this consist. I'll show you how to kill a consist with the NCE Power Cab, and we're just going to break this up and make two smaller trains out of it instead of having this one gigantic one. That's about as many cars as I can run here on the layout without it hitting itself over here. Here I could probably have maybe one more. You'll see how close it is, but I don't really want to run much more than that. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. Let me go ahead and grab the other locomotive out of the shed there, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So I'm starting up this GP38 that's in the shed there, and let me just bring it out of here. Now you'll notice right away I've got a temporary number on the side there, number 306, and that's what I've named this one. And turn that bell off here. Let me just get it over here to where we can see it. All right, I went ahead and shut them down so I'm not competing with the engine noise. But these are my Union Pacific MTH locomotives. They are GP38-2s. Let me get the booklet here. Here's the MTH. And as you know, MTH went out of business. Well, so here's my story and why I have three of them and why you never see this one. So this one inside the chassis here is the first one I bought, and it came with this shell on it, number 315. So this was number 315. And if you remember, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, I posted a video where this locomotive suddenly started doing this weird thing where it would surge. I call it surging, but it was more like it was cutting out. So here, let's just run it. We'll run it up the track here and I'll show you what I mean. Now, I have the NCE controller set for 0 to 28 for the speed control. So as you can see, it's running. It's making noise. I can do the horn and everything. It's running all right. As I start increasing the speed, now I'm on number 4. I'm going to increase it some more. And there will come a point where it's going to stop running correctly. And that's 5. There, did you see it hesitate? There, it hesitated again. Now I'm just gonna let it go through the tunnel and it'll come out over here. So here it comes. And it's running pretty good, but there it goes. See it? I call it surging, but it's more like it's hesitating. And I tried everything. I cleaned the tracks. I took it apart. I cleaned the wheels. I did everything. So anything, this is just 9 on the speed control. As I increase it, it really starts struggling. See that? That's 14. It can hardly move. Okay. So let me stop that and let me shut it down. So we don't have to. All right. So I contacted MTH. I tried. I got no response from them at all. I guess because they're out of business. I got no phone calls back. I got no emails back. I got nothing. So that was disappointing. So rather than buy another decoder, try to fix it, I felt like I had no support. Train World still had them in stock at the time for $139. So I bought another one. When it came, I switched the chassis or the shell. So this one now became 315. So this is it came to me as a 307, which was this body. So I just switched the two. So these two work great. Now, another funny anomaly, when this one is running and it starts doing its little surging, cutting out thing, it makes these two or anything I'm running do the same thing. So I have a theory. I think it's either a bad decoder, possibly a bad motor that is drawing some kind of amperage problem, or my system, NCE Power Cab system, isn't able to handle the draw. Like this one is drawing more amps than it really should. So once I get that on the system, it bogs down everything else. I've got it, this is DCC running this here for lights, and there's another Caboose running lights. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know if that's really what's happening, but I think the next move I'm going to do is get a 5 amp power booster for my system here for the NCE. And I think that will possibly solve the problem, but it still makes me wonder why this one is drawing more amps or something like that. So anyway, I welcome your thoughts on it. I'm not going to work too hard at trying to get this thing back up and running. Like I said, I've taken it apart, and I have cleaned the motor, cleaned the wheels, and done all that kind of stuff. So if it's an easy fix, it'd be great. Maybe someday I'll switch out the decoder. But what I'm going to do, and I was actually talking to Robert, Flying Crow, earlier this week about renumbering this one. Now the problem is, one of the problems, it has lighted boards up there. So let me turn the headlight on, and you'll see those are lighted. They go on and off with the classification lights. So changing that number, I think, might be kind of difficult. I'm not sure, but that's something I'd like to do once I get this thing running properly again. I don't want to waste time on it if I can't run it. So anyway, that's the story of why we have 3 and why you never see me running this one. Now, it does run pretty well at low speed, but I noticed even at low speed when I'm running it with those two, like trying to have a 3 locos in the consist, it starts to draw too much and it starts cutting out. It starts its little business again. So that's why I don't run that. So you remember from the last video a week or so ago, the Southern boxcar, which is back inside the tunnel right now, was giving me some trouble. You'll be happy to know it's straightened out now that I added some weight to it and adjusted some of the trucks and the wheels. It's doing much better. I've had this running now about 45 minutes prior to me filming this, and it ran perfectly, no derailments, no problems. So I was pretty happy with that. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and break up this consist. So here, I'll just, there's the consist there, 307. Now, if you remember, it actually assigned number 127 to the consist when you make it. That's what the Power Cab defaults at, 127. You can call it anything you want, but I just leave it because I'm only running one consist at a time usually, and it's easy for me to remember. So let's just start this guy up right now. When you have it in consist, and it'll show the lead loco up here, once you start it or do any action, it will start both of them. So the way you can tell is if I recall go through my locos, I don't want 306, there's 315, I can check it, turn the headlight on and off, blow the whistle, make sure it's running, whatever. So you can still control lights and sounds when it's in a consist, but it won't run on its own until you kill the consist. So let's say I wanted to run just 315 right now, and I gave it some power, you'll see nothing happens, even if, let me just unhitch it from 307. So I call up the loco and I go, okay, let's go, give it some power. It's not gonna go anywhere because it still belongs in the consist. So I'll show you how we're gonna kill that consist. Okay, so both locos are running, like I said. So what we'll do is we'll go back here down to the bottom where it says consist, and we're gonna say clear. And you see it says kill consist. And remember I said it's not 307, it's 127, enter. And that's it. That's all it is. So now it's killed. So now if I call up each locomotive separately, let's do 307 since it's out front, and I give it a little power, 307 should move out. So there it is. It is back to being independent again. I had this switch thrown incorrectly. Make sure that we're on the track still. Okay. All right, so 307 is good. So now if I come over to my recall and call up 315, okay, if it's not in recall, I set this up so I can have 6 recalls on here now, which is its maximum. So it's not there. I don't have 315 anymore. So we'll just say select loco. It's going to ask which one. 315. Hit enter. And there it is. So now I can turn on the headlight. I can turn on, it has, this one has red and green classification lights that come on and go off with the board light there. And if I just go ahead and hit number 3, it'll start up. There it goes. And if with the NCE Power Cab, or actually with the MTH locos, number 6 is your volume. So if I hit 6, it'll go down, and if I hit it again, it'll go up. And then you just hit it to keep it where you want it. So that's a pretty good level. It's a little loud. I'll go down a little bit. That's pretty good. So now if I just give it some power, there we go. So now these two are broken up out of the consist, and I can go ahead and set up a train for each of them. So since 315 is right here, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and hook up a little bit. We'll pull these forward a little. Now individually, these guys can't pull more than about 5 or 6 cars, 7, with the grades on this layout. It's one of the downfalls of this Grand Valley is the grades. So that's why I run a consist when I want to run a long train. So I think, let's see here. Let's stop it here. And oh yeah, by the way, there's scrape marks on that boxcar. I don't have them on all of them, but I do have them on a few. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's break it up here at the coal cars. And oh, I'm gonna have to move 307 up out of the way a little ways. Let's get that going. I can have it come around while we're doing this. So let's move this guy forward a little bit. I like to rail my cars up right here by the station because I've got this nice derailleur here. Re-railer, I should say. So we'll put this caboose on it. That's one of the ones that I wired up for DCC. I like the flashing red light. I can set it up. I should show you guys how that works actually. I had made video on it, but it was a long time ago. So after we hook up these trains, I'll show you how I have these set up to operate. They have lights inside and light on each side, which I installed with a DCC board that I put in there. I can refer back to the videos where I did that if you're interested in how I built that, made it do that. But I'll show you how it works as far as DCC after we get this train set up. So here comes 307. He's going to run into the back here, so we're going to stop him here so I can cheat and pull him over here, and then we'll get 315 on its way. All right, looks like we're all set to go. 315 is well on his way there, so we'll go ahead and get 307 going. I've got 6 cars each on each train, including 7 if you count the caboose. So I got them both running the same speed, a number 4 on the controller. So there's 307, it's running a 4. Let's check 315, it's running a 4. So that's good. They're speed matched. You know, since they're in a consist, long ago when I got the 2, I speed matched them so they would work real well in a consist. So now we're running 2 trains. And they're both coming out of the tunnel. That's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun when you run 2 trains on here too. It makes the layout seem bigger. And like I said, you know, I keep saying, keep them running slow, and it makes the layout look bigger. I'm gonna just reverse 315 here and put him back in the tunnel there. Overnight, I like to keep them inside the tunnels, like that. And 307's coming out, and we'll get him right over here so we can talk about this caboose right here being a DCC caboose. All right, so just to review, about a year or maybe more ago, I did a video on installing the lights on these cabooses. So what it is, it's the same people that make the Power Cab, NCE, and it's called the Light It Decoder. And you can see how small it is. There's compared to a dime. And you can see right here, it came in a pack of 3. See how there's 3 on a card, and each one has its own sticky back. So you can stick them on the inside of a car, or in my case, I stuck it to the top of the caboose. And you solder up your wires and stuff. Now, if you look on here, that yellow spot is a light itself, and the brass spot is a button. That's for changing the CV values and programming it. So it's really a slick thing. Really, really cool. Glad I discovered it. So both cabooses, I put one in, and I want to do some more. But so what I did, and like I said, in the description below, I'll put links to the videos where I installed the decoders, did the soldering and stuff. So I also installed in there capacitors so that when you take it off the track or it hits a dead spot on the track for some reason, the lights won't flicker. So it has some pretty strong capacitors in there that keep it running for, sometimes 10 minutes after the power's cut. So that's really cool. So I soldered, if you look, I soldered tiny little capacitor or LED right up under the lip there, right up under. And there's one on the other side, right behind the ladder there. Sorry. And then that light that's on the board itself, you can see in there is lighted right now. And you can see that it's kind of the interior light is going on and coming off, turning on, turning off on its own, sort of randomly. Well, that's a feature that I programmed it to do. So we figure there's some guys riding in there and they're turning the lights on and off. So if it's kind of random, it's kind of cool that, you know, somebody needs to get up and cook something, they turn the light on, or they need to look at some charts or something. It's kind of cool. Now, the back flashes and the front one does not. So let me show you how to control it with the DCC controller, and I'll show you how I have it programmed. So just like with a locomotive, you have to assign an address. For my two, just so I could remember them, I called one of them 1235 and 1234. This one happens to be 1235, which you see I wrote right there. So you just go in here, and just like you're gonna call up a locomotive, 1235, enter. Okay, so just like you control the lights on a locomotive, you control these lights the same way. So I have one side set up to be number 1, and that is the side that flashes. Now, you have a bunch of choices as far as CV values go, and it's all in the book of how to program it. You can program it with a random flash, or like a light that's flickering and going out, or like a neon light, or a slow flash, or whatever you want. I happen to have it programmed as a slow flash, and that's what I like. But let's say I don't want it to flash, then I can come over here. Let me just move this. All right, and for the other side, I have it not flashing, so that's just a solid red. So that's number 3 on my controller. So I just turn the car around if I just want a solid red light. And then for the interior lights, I just hit the headlight switch, or 0 if you want, but that will control the interior lights. So pretty cool how you can have control, DCC control of the lights on these guys. And it's really a simple board to install. So like I said, I will put a link in the description below for the videos that I did when I installed those decoders in those guys. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have time for this week. May skip a couple weeks. I've got some stuff going on, and I may be out of town for a little bit, couple of weeks, but I'll have something for you, hopefully when I'm on the road, but we'll see. So it'll be a few weeks until I get another video to you guys, but thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We're up to 708 subscribers today, which is really awesome. I thank you guys so much for the likes and the subscribes. And like I always say, it just blows me away. Never thought I'd have that many subscribers to my channel, but you guys are totally awesome. Thank you so much. So, all right, you guys take care, and I'll see you next video. And take care, God bless, and have a great weekend. See you guys later.